now Elijah's being interviewed, or different coaches, or coach came
Recruited. Yeah,
down? Because I don't know, you haven't been on WhatsApp, but he made a decision. I don't know if you saw Shonda posted it, but he made a decision that he is leaving University of Miami. So now he's back out there scouting. So they are actually in a meeting right now, and she's not going to be able to make it. So she told
All the
us.
love. All the love to
I know, right?
Elijah.
That's what I told him. I said we wish him all the love and the support, Elijah. When if your mom listens back to this, or you listen back, we are here for you, and we wish you nothing but success.
for
Let
sure. I
me go
talked to him
ahead
a
and
while
put.
back when things were happening. I told him, look, you got to do what's best for you. And you obviously were dedicated to the university, but things change, new regimes. You got to do what's best for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of that, Ryan, I'm gonna ask you. I mean, it's not one of the topics, but I'm just curious how you feel. Cindy, you've been traveling, so you probably don't even know what's going on in the world. But
What's up?
how do you feel about the whole Deion Sanders leaving Jackson? Like, it
Yeah, it
was
was
the
inevitable.
news.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
was
speaking
inevitable.
of doing what's best for you, like, do you blame someone?
No, and that's the hard part. You get attached to a program that you build up and you do so well at, and it feels so good, and then it's almost
Right.
like everyone has to understand it's inevitably going to happen. You're going to take a better, higher position somewhere else. You can only go so far. That's a not even a D2 school. I don't think it. What is Jackson? Is it D2?
Um, I think it is
It's an HSBC.
D2,
Yeah, it's an
but
HBCU, but
HBCU,
yeah,
right?
I think they might be D2. It's the swag. But anyway, he
Yeah,
was
it's the
he was eventually going to get recruited for a lot of money by a D1 school, and he said they're gonna come with money, and I'm gonna entertain offer when they come. I'd be lying if I told you any otherwise. So Colorado was an interesting spot, even though you look at it, you see they're dead last, and they've been dead last for a long time. Maybe it's like there's only one way is up, and he could do some things there.
right, right.
But yeah, it's hard because you build such strong relationships and you achieve such heights at our program and you build them up, and then it's like I gotta go. And some people are gonna be like, "Why are you leaving us?" But other people could be, "You gotta do what's best for you." So yeah, it was inevitable, I think, but it is
Absolutely.
news
Yeah. It was all over the news station today.
for sure.
Cindy, I didn't even get a chance to talk to everybody. Hi, everybody's coming in. Cindy, can you be on comments? Who all is out there? Let's say
I'm
hi
already
to
on
a
it.
couple people. Hey, let's see. Let's see who's on our lineup this Monday night.
Yeah, this overlay right quick.
Cousin Evelyn is
Let's.
on. Hi,
Hey,
Veronica,
cousin Evelyn.
Katrina, Sarah, Ryan. Hey, hey, hey,
Yes.
family.
And
All
our
right.
little nephew Jordan. His birthday is coming up. Wait, is
I
there
can't
echo
believe
on
it's
my
been a
end?
year.
Do you guys hear echo
No,
when I talk? You're good?
no,
Okay.
we're
All right.
No, we're
we're
good.
good. I don't know. Are they hearing it?
I think we're
Um,
good.
yeah, I can't believe Jordan is one already. Katrina, wow, the
I
time.
know.
Ryan, Katrina, the time flies, really.
That's our honorary co-host, Jordan.
Shanitha, hi,
Anita,
Shanitha.
hi. She joined us. She's always supporting us on the show, guys. She's always sharing our pages. She's very active. Sarah, Sarah's gonna be there. Listen, Sarah's always gonna be there. That's our family. We do have
That's
our
right.
family. And Katrina and Ryan. And Ryan even shares us with Monday Night Football. So he's a huge
Damn,
support.
I forgot to record that. Just reminded me,
Uh-oh.
man.
Who's playing tonight? Ryan, let us know in the chat who's playing Monday Night Football. But
At
let's
Ryan.
go around. Let's go around and introduce ourselves. Oh my, well, you know what? I don't even want to introduce ourselves. Like, you know what? Hello, December. Could you guys tell? Like, why am I the only one that is celebrating Christmas? Ryan told me I was too soon. Like,
A little bit.
audience, let me know. Am I too soon? Are you? Who has their Christmas trees and their decorations up in the house? Like, come
Nah, I
on.
got the
Let me
Christmas tree up, and here's a caveat, TK. You're not too soon if you keep the same energy all month. That's fine. I thought it was like we'll do
Okay,
it today
okay,
and then
okay.
not after this. But if it's starting today and it's ending all December, I'll let you go. That's fine. You better have it
You
next
Thank
week.
you.
must know who you're dealing with.
Okay. I thought
Through
it was a
Cindy,
birthday
I'm
month
so
through
anxious.
situation, but
January. Through January.
okay.
Ooh, yes, I will. I
All right.
will. Cindy, let everybody know what city you're reporting from because you're still traveling.
Y'all, I am reporting live from Columbus, Ohio. Some of my favorite
Interesting.
people here are in Columbus. My college voice teacher, who is now my partner, my book writing partner, lives here in Columbus. And I have really great friends that I made in New York who also are from Columbus and still have roots here. So Disney Princess, the concert, is playing Columbus, Ohio tomorrow, and I'm so excited to be here. Columbus is a really nice town.
It's
I'm going to pass
cold
it
up
down to
there.
Ryan
We
David,
should be
who's got a
having
new setup.
Ryan,
Yeah,
introduce
well,
yourself. Tell our new listeners about yourself.
hi everybody. How y'all doing this evening? I hope everybody is good. Ladies, I hope you are good. Happy December. Yep, Ryan David, psychology professor, personal leadership coach, holistic lifestyle coach. Just happy to be here. And I do have a little bit of new tech going on. I hope everything is good from a technological standpoint. Just been working on my studio a little bit, really trying to get my workflow down pat so I can start doing my own thing and pumping out more content. So I just have the light off, actually, the master light off in the back. So it looks a little bit, I hope it's popping a little bit better tonight than
It
before.
is.
Is
But
I
yeah,
Cindy, he's
do
setting up the
can I
scene.
say that I do miss the lower table that
that's
shows the
over there.
wall?
Yeah, that's over there.
I will
Yeah.
say if you were asking for my opinion, no one did, but here it comes.
So I'm saving that for like my content. So I have a backdrop
Ooh,
for my content because I did a
Mm.
lot with you already. So it's switching it up a little bit. But
ooh,
do y'all see
ooh.
Sleepyhead right here?
There's a picnic basket. Is that a
No,
cat?
it's a
Wait, what is that? A cat?
it's a sleepy cat. She snuck in here. She's sleeping by the
A
time I
real
got
cat?
started. So
Oh,
I gotta kick her out. I only mess with real cats, Cindy. Come on now.
wait. Cindy, how you just gonna come back like this? No, you know what? Bye.
That beat drop has scared her.
You see
That
the
beat
beat?
drop, the beat drop has scared her. She jumped down. I gotta let her out now.
Oh,
Pick up my vibes.
Doors
we
cracked, so
do
she
have
let
that
her out.
effect. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Talk Miami podcast and talk show. I am your girl, TK Owens, and I have the pleasure of being your host tonight. We're going to have so much fun. And if you are watching and listening, we are missing. We can't go to the corner tonight. Dr. Shonda is not here. Everybody, let's just make sure we show her some love. If you know her son, Elijah Roberts, who is playing for University of Miami right now, he is hot commodity. He is being scouted by universities. So they are having meetings right now. So we wish the Roberts family nothing but success and love for you. We miss you, Shonda, and we're going to hold it down for you. Cindy, I see we have some more people. Brian is here in a chat. Anita is here. That's who braided our hair, Cindy. She braids our hair.
Hi,
That's our
Anita.
girl.
It might be time. It might be
And
that time again.
you know, and Ryan said the Saints and the Bucks are playing tonight, Ryan. So
Yep.
there you go. You're missing out on the festivities. And thank
Hi,
you, Regina. Well, guys,
Diane.
let's
Hi,
just jump right
Morgan.
in. Yes, let's jump right into it. Of course, there were some, amazing topics that took place over the weekend that we all could talk about. One, if you're just now joining us, was Deion Sanders' decision to actually leave Jackson State and go over to, is it University of Colorado or Colorado State University? I'm not sure. University of Colorado, I believe, is
Yeah, it's not
the
state.
proper name, right? Yeah. And so, of course, a lot of people, that was the buzz.
Is it
What
CSU?
was some news that caught you off guard this weekend, or any latest news, Cindy, that you just saw out on social media or the news? Anything that stood out to you?
I am in a
She's
bubble.
been she's been in the Disney World bubble.
I'm in a bubble. I'm so sorry I can't contribute to current events. But I'm going to
No,
hold down to
that's
the psychology
okay.
professor who can break things down on a daily.
Ryan,
University of Colorado,
besides
University of Colorado Buffaloes.
perfect. Besides Deion Sanders, was there anything that stood out to you in latest news?
You know, I just try to watch the basics as far as news is concerned. There's a lot of I leave the gossip kind of headquarters to TK. She's all over that. She
You know it.
shares with us what we need. I don't really do that part, but I'm gonna save something that I saw, a headline that I saw that was maybe news.
Okay.
I'm gonna save that for my real talk. I do have something that came out in the news, maybe on underneath the radar a little bit, but I'm gonna speak on it a little bit later.
Awesome. So let's just jump right into it. Oh my God. So tonight we're going to talk about in the first topic. Of course, we all know DWade, former NBA player, and he actually has a transgender daughter that we know of now that goes by the name Zaya Wade. So they are back in the news. They're always in the news, but they are back in the news because the latest thing that has taken place is that Zaya has decided to legally transition to a girl, meaning she wants to legally change her name and she wants to legally have the sex change. And with that decision, her parents, which if you guys don't know, that DWade actually has full custody of Zaya Wade, and he is now married to the actress Gabrielle Union, and they have decided to support Zaya through this transition, although Zaya is only 15 years old. So that is the question. Not only are we going to find out from the co-hosts what I guess let's go to the question, but listening audience, the same thing for you. I want to propose this question to you. Should DWade allow Zaya to legally transition as a minor? The reason why I'm also bringing this up is because now this case is in court's hand in the state of Florida, that the mom, the biological mom, is now trying to stop this legal transition from Zaya actually, making that decision at 15 years old. Mom wants Zaya to wait until she's 18 years old. And so that's my question. And we're going to go around the room to Cindy and Ryan. But I also want to know your thoughts, listeners. Give us what you think. Should DWade allow Zaya to legally transition as to a female at 15 years old? But who I want to actually go to first is, on this point, we have a female point of view, Cindy, and a male point of view. Cindy, what are your thoughts with this decision?
I work with a lot of children. I work with a lot of kids. I I understand what it means to be a kid, and also what it means to sort of find your identity as an individual. Being mixed race may not have a close comparison, but it is an identity issue, and finding what community you belong to. Those conflicts do still are quite present in a lot of our society. I struggled with it, my identity and where I'm supposed to fit in and belong. And it really wasn't until later in my life that I started to accept and enjoy who I am and what I contribute to the world as myself. I do feel that the brain is not fully formed, and Ryan could speak to this after. The brain is not, and the mind is not fully formed. And so as much as you can wait till they're 18, you can wait till they're 21, you can wait till they're 25. Once you make the decision to do it, there's no going back. And so we all talk about in the media about transitioning, but there's a whole other side of this about detransitioning, which is another topic in itself, where those who have made the decision to transition have learned that there are not only psychological considerations and regrets, but there are also physical and health regrets and considerations that they didn't consider before. So it is truly, Indiana says it's the same. These operations are truly irreversible in any case, and the damage, once it's done, cannot be undone. So there are so many people who it's really just about acceptance. From my vantage point, it feels like it's just about acceptance, accepting one's body and the society accepting that person for who they are, and finding the right connections within the community. because a surgery will not solve the problem. It's just like women who want breast implants. It
Right.
does not solve a problem. It can enhance and it helps and makes a great picture, but you still have to deal with any repercussions of that going forward. So those are my 2 cents on it.
Well, I mean, I didn't even really think about it that way. My mind didn't even allow me to get to post surgery or post transition. Ryan, you study the human behavior. What are your thoughts on this before I go even to the next question? Let's go with the first question.
Yeah.
Should they support this decision knowing that he's 15?
If we're going to be
You're
technically
correct.
correct,
You're
right?
right. No, you're correct.
Right.
No, you're correct. She.
So, and I
Yes.
think that to answer your question, Tika, I'm with you though. It's a little bit confusing and it can be really difficult, but I think Cindy really made some really key points, and I'll just kind of expand on them. I really have a hard stance on this because what we're asking about is surgery, correct? We're not
Correct.
asking about
And,
supporting our
and
child. We're not
legally
asking,
changing name and
yeah,
all
yeah,
of
yeah.
that. That was on
But
the
we're
birth
not
certificate.
asking about supporting our child in their emotional and mental transition as to see them and refer to them and help them through the world as they identify. We're not talking about that. We're talking about supporting them to make permanent changes, as TK said, whether it be hormone therapies or treatments. That's what we're talking about. And I think that some people are conflating the two, and they think that you have to do both or you're not doing anything. And I highly disagree for a lot of the reasons that Cindy said. Not only have I studied human behavior, I've worked with children, counseled children, and I don't have kids of my own, children of my own, but I've worked with more kids than most people have ever dealt with. And I've seen patterns. I've seen the process. I've worked K through 12. I've dealt with 4-year-olds. I've dealt with 24-year-olds in college and 14-year-olds in middle school and high school. Like I've seen the gamut, and I've been a child. So there's a little bit of a reference there to understand it from a developmental standpoint. And my position is a hard stance based on nothing but development. And it has to do with what Cindy said, which has to do with brain development, mainly brain development. And the reason why is because when we're making permanent decisions as children, one of the reasons why we have parents and the role that our parents play is to help us make decisions that are informed and rational and logical. And they use reason and they use foresight. We lack those things for a long period of time. Some would say up to 22, 25 years of age. We're still developing the prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of reasoning, decision-making, and so on. But from a developmental standpoint, I think that there's so many things that are still going to take place from a maturity standpoint, a socialization standpoint, a getting to know yourself, like Cindy said, in terms of what actually is going on with your body. Puberty changes the game big time. Things are different from 12 to 16. There's a lot of things that can change. So for me, I think if we're going to narrow down what this argument or this conversation is about, it is at what point do we support the child? And at what point do we say, look, I'm going to encourage you to hold off, or I'm not going to support you in making permanent changes until you can make that decision on your own and be fully responsible for that on your own as an adult. And I say at least at 18 years of age. Can't go off to the army till you're 18. I mean, it would make any, that we can look at a lot of age limits. You can throw ages out there, but here we're talking about a literally a physical change to their anatomy, to their body that is irreversible. So one of the things that I'll say that just to point out, and I think since we don't have anybody really, we have diverse opinions, and so we do bring a lot to the table. But I think that we all have a consensus on this, and it seems like a lot of people in the crowd, in the audience, and in the chat, they're with the consensus. Mom, let's go with mom. Let's wait. But here's what from what I understand, and I've listened to both quote sides, and I've tried to be informed about why parents would support or do what DWade Wade's doing. And this is what I take from it. What I think you have parents who love their children with good intentions. And they're thinking that if this is how my child identifies, I want to do everything I can for my child to be comfortable. And if there's more I can do, then I want to do that. And if I don't do that, if there's more I can do and I don't do it, that could cause strife and stress and could cause more damage for the child. So we should affirm the child. But that's somewhat ignorant and naive, because what it does is it basically says that you're going to take the advice, or I should say the recommendations or the demands or the requests of a 12-year-old or 13-year-old into account and not have any discretion from an adult standpoint. So you can listen to your child, but you have to be the one that has discretion. And if the child doesn't understand, and they cannot at 12 or 13, the ramifications of altering your biochemistry or your anatomy or your fertility. They do not understand that yet, and they shouldn't. A 12-year-old should not be charged with the task of understanding that, as at least how it affects themselves or socially. So for all those reasons, for me, it's a hard no. But the caveat is, I still think if parents want to support their children with how they see themselves, what they're going through, what their truth, so to speak, is as they're growing up, that's fine. And I think that one of the things that we're missing is, and I have one more thing to say about the detransitioning too. I'm glad Cindy brought that up. I think one of the things that we're missing is that when we try to support the children, there's ways to do this that don't cause permanent damage. Like I was referring to earlier, we can find ways to make our children resilient, tough, and really also understand themselves as they go through these trying times, and also how to socialize in ways. They can socialize in ways, understanding how people are going to see them. They don't have to change their body physically or their biochemistry to, quote, be accepted. That's a big deal. And parents oftentimes want to do whatever I can to just make it easiest for them to be who they are. No, a lot of it is lessons. Look, you're different than a lot of your classmates. Let's talk about how to handle that. Let's not go run get surgery and think that that's going to solve all the problems, like Cindy said. Let's talk about how we're going to handle this as you go through elementary school or middle school. This is what you're going to maybe run into. How are we going to handle that? And how we're going to, and I love you, and this is home base, and we'll refer to it. And as you get older, things will make more sense and things grow. And you do that. You don't have to go make the change, I don't think. And for the reasons I said, the developmental reasons. The thing you also get, and this is the last thing I have to say, Cindy, you can have it. And then Tika, I'd love to see what you had to say about this. The detransition, and a lot of what you see now with people who support these surgeries for children at such a young age is what I said. It's what's best for the kid, and the kid wants that. And that's how they identify. So why stop them? Why prevent them? Here's the thing. A lot of those people, what they're doing is they're waving that flag of, I'm trying to do the right thing for kids, and I support kids, and look at me, and I support the kids, and that's why I'm for it. Well, where are you in 12 years when they're having a crisis about the fact that they transitioned? You're nowhere around when they're going through a situation that they now realize as an adult wasn't actually fitting. Yeah. So I thought I was transgender at 11, but actually I just turned out to be a lesbian. And so where are all the people who were, but oops, I got a surgery and now my whole life is a wreck. Now doesn't happen to everybody. Some people will get surgery and they will be fitting, and that's who they are, and they live the rest of their lives in content with that. But where are the people that are waving the flag of make the change, support the change? You're not around anymore after the change. So put the brakes a little bit is my take.
Cindy, before I go to you, I'm going to bring up another point of why the mom thinks that they are supporting Zaya. Maybe that would answer some of your questions, Ryan. DWade's ex-wife claims that the transgender daughter is being exploited and wants Zaya to wait. What she means by that is that Zaya, I don't know if you guys have noticed, she's looking more and more like a girl. She's even taking hormone shots. And she's getting a lot of deals. She's getting a lot of modeling deals by major brand, designers. And they feel like that's why they're supporting this in that movement of fashion and modeling. I'm going to turn it over to, which we don't know this is true. This is allegedly what the mother is saying. Now, this is coming from her voice. And I wish we have some attorneys out there. If there's some attorneys out there, let us know. Does mom, who is not the custodial parent, will the judge consider her thoughts? I'm just curious. So if there's anyone out there that knows, does she have a chance, or does DWade, who is the custodial parent, makes a decision because Zaya lives with him? Cindy, your thoughts before I share a video.
I don't know their ins and outs of their relationship, but she's not an absentee mother. So I wouldn't say that. So it's by the court, right, and the judge, but because she's not an absentee mother, she doesn't show any sort of negative issues, then as the mother, she does have the say, especially if the child is a minor. But I will say, like, to your point, actually, it's about access. Zaya might be a poster child for the generation of transgender who have the access, because this kid's not going to public school. They're not growing up in a middle-class society. Their access to all of these resources as not one who lives in the middle of America, who's a young Black child living in the middle of America who is confused about their identity and is interested or questioning or curious about the transition. It's the same thing I feel about Caitlyn Jenner. It's not fair. because you're not being a poster child as a child for a child's mind. You're not advocating for children. If that's the case, you want to advocate for a human in society and keep them on the path of being and loving who they are, because the access and what people want to do is sell surgery.
And that's what killed me. I found out that the doctor who is going to do this procedure, if granted, works at University of Miami medical. And I was just like, I want an attorney to log. I should have brought an attorney on. Does a doctor have permission to do surgery on a minor? I guess if he gets permission from the parent.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Of course.
It's just hard to wrap your head around it when you really think about it.
Yes.
You know? So like if your 14-year-old came and said, I want to be a mom.
Right.
You say no, or you say, well, she wants to be a mom, who am I to say no? You support her and doing what she feels and what's important. And the pushback to that will be, well, that's different, Mr. AB. That's different, Ryan. That's different. We're talking about her own personal identity, but going back to my argument, her personal identity is based on her being 14 years old. Lots going to change, and so you have to take those things into context. I just think that you talk about permanent changes and it's just not necessary at that age. And again, I could go off on about how corrupt some of the APA has become, American Psychological Association, and how they approach the treatment for gender dysphoria or for any of these individuals in these situations. And they I don't want to say they're pushing surgery, but they've opened the door. They've kicked the door wide open for it to look and appear as though that is almost recommended as a way to resolve gender dysphoria. So yeah, that train has left the building. Yeah, as a treatment, right? So that's where you get the narrative of, well, it's the right thing to do because science, because they say, because so and so. Well, again, it depends on who's on that board and what those decisions are based on. Again, are we talking about children though? Are we talking about adults that go to therapy and they realize, look, I identify as a woman. I'm a woman. What should I do, doc? Well, would gender reaffirming surgery help you? Okay, as an adult, yeah, I think it would. Okay, you can go through that decision. Okay, that's fine. You're an adult. You can make the decision. But we're talking about children. That's where you say, okay, to your point, let's hit the brakes and let's just wait a couple more years.
Yeah. Well, if anybody is out there wondering how Zaya feels about this, he actually posted a testimonial. Let's take a look.
My full authentic self feels like freedom. Being out and open and truthful about who I am to myself and others is just freeing. Transphobia still exists and is widely common. There are genuinely people out there who think that you're a kid, this is a phase, or you don't actually know what you're talking about. I know that I'm trans. I didn't say one day, I just want to try out being trans. No, we are who we are. Being trans is one of the most important parts of me, and so to be an inspiration to everyone out there is always my hope. But I also hope that I just finish high school, go to college, get my degree, and also live a life outside of Zaya Wade, the trans person, and be Zaya, just Zaya.
Good luck with that, as long as that's the most important part of your life. Now, first of all, good,
priorities.
Fine. You're trans. That's the case, and that's fine. We're not even arguing whether you should or can't be or aren't. That's not what we're doing. We'll actually support you in being trans if you want to do that. The question to me was surgery and reassignment surgery and hormone therapy that's going to cause some irreversible changes. I'm going to say, just hold off, Zaya. Just chill.
There are so many people in my community, particularly, who have paved a way and fought for their voices and their identities to be seen, recognized, and heard and respected. And there, a lot of them made it through, and a lot of them didn't. And yes, we do need champions, and yes, we do need examples, and yes, we still need voices in that community who support and visibility. But
14-year-old as the poster child is kind of suspect.
And for a 14-year-old person to be the poster child for a gender assignment surgery is wild.
It's
However,
wild.
she can be the poster child for a person who requires and commands and demands to be seen as the individual that is a part of a community of people.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, Cindy. I was going to throw something in there. We also need to look at the privilege part of this. There's going to be kids out there who are 11, 12, 13, who maybe feel they're trans, and they're not in a position to even think about having the financial means or the access to these surgeries. So, Zaya, let's see if you can be just a kid that's dealing with these things and not have to have access to these extremities, at least in my opinion. So, like, can you be a model of how a kid can go through childhood and then adolescence as a trans kid that then becomes a trans adult that then later makes the adult decision based on, the opportunities that they, and I mean, like, there's ways to do this. And again, I think we have to, Zaya is a celebrity. I don't care if modeling agencies are seeking her or not. She's the son of DWade, arguably the greatest Miami Heat player of all time. Like, what are we talking about here? She is a celebrity, whether she likes it or not. And we know celebrity is toxic. It's a poison in certain areas of our lives. And so when you start to mesh those things together, it's dangerous. And I think you're seeing some of that now. And Dwayne is in a spot, a tough spot, because he's in the limelight. He's also a parent. He loves his child. There's a big push for this now. Is he going to be the one that doesn't do what his child wants when society's screaming you have to do what your child wants?
Right.
And then there's the last thing I'll say, which is that I didn't even think about the fact that there is a movement right now, and there's going to be, Zaya even really embodies that. And you spend any time around any kids. Hell, I've spent time around 22-year-olds that are a mouthpiece for things on Twitter. Everything that she just said right there was a script. I mean, I've heard that and read that dozens and dozens of times.
Yeah.
Why would you expect anything else from a 14-year-old? I mean, she's a celebrity and she's a famous 14-year-old, but from a 14-year-old who's going to be soaking in social media and all of these things that are popular and going on in attention. Like, no, man.
When you become the head of your own household, when you really become responsible for yourself, then you can make those types of decisions at any age.
Ooh, Cindy, you're speaking of my household, and that's exactly what I tell my kids.
Because there's an understanding and there is an awareness and a level of stakes of survival that one has to consider when these sort of ideas come to play, when these challenges come to play and these obstacles in your life. You can't say I want that and you don't have the access. You have to deal with what you've been given. So it's hard.
Yes. And Ryan, I completely agree with both of you guys. There are other ways they can support her movement.
And I think they will. I think they not that they'll say yes to the surgery. I think that they will make a decision that fits Zaya's well-being for her future.
Right. Cindy, let's go to some of the comments. Let's see what I wanted my cousin Evelyn here. She says, if you need both parents for a passport for minor kids, I'm thinking you would need both parents sign off on that, not attorneys. So I wonder, does the mom have any power in decision? Do you guys think
we're losing you a little bit, TK? You're a little choppy. You're a little choppy.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, I don't know what you did, but just
okay. That's okay. I was just wondering, does she have any rights to stopping this? The mother, biological mother.
It's going to be if she can afford lawyers that are better than Wade's. I mean, unfortunately, that's what I think.
What the judge decides.
That's what I think.
Yeah,
it's really
money talks. Cindy, let's share some of the comments. Let's see, because I love everybody's chiming in on this. Let's see who has some great thoughts to share with us here.
Evelyn said, if both parents need a passport for a minor.
Yeah, that's what she just read.
Yeah, grown women right now don't have the rights to their own bodies, and that's a fact.
Ooh.
That's a fact. In some states, grown women don't have the right to their own bodies. So this conversation is a sidebar from, female reproductive rights. For goodness sake, Indiana Jones says, for goodness sake, when my son was 10, he wanted to be an elf. He thought it would be cool to be small. Of course, he's 6'3", but God forbid I had to cut his legs or something.
Yeah.
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 He
Yeah.
wanted to be
Making
an elf.
decisions as kids.
Hilarious, by the way. And there is a 6'3" elf. His name is Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Mind you, I have to point out, I do have adults that transitioned and still had years of therapy to go through the whole transition.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes. Indiana Jones, are you part of, whose community are you a part of? Mine? TK's? Ryan? How'd you find us?
Mine. She works with me. She works with
Amazing.
me.
Crap.
That are my friends, I should point out. Yes, I have a few friends in my community who are transgender, and they have been fighting the good fight, and they're adults. But a trans shouldn't be opposed to child. Shouldn't be a child is what I think you have. You have plenty of adults that are transitioned. Why should we use children? Mm-hmm.
Relaxed state of mind said, yeah, the
The
parents
press
have
and
to sign a
exploitation once
consent form.
again.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
throw
know
that one up there, TK. Because I was wondering if she said,
that one.
yeah. So the parent has to sign, but we were wondering if both parents, I guess what they mean, relaxed state of mind, I guess what they mean is that the other one has to sign. They both have to sign. So relaxed state of mind, are you saying that both parents have to sign off on the consent form for the child to have surgery? And also, while we're waiting on to hear back from relaxed state of mind, if we do, well, look at this one. As someone who's worked with youth for a long time and now they're present, I believe this situation may be easier said than done. When you're on the outside looking in, there are so many in-depth conversations from young people in this scenario. I'm having this conversation with my staff almost every day. Not sure what you do. Denisha says, like, where do we start? I'm not saying it's wrong or right, just more layered than this. And I don't think anybody's denying that it's layered. I think what we're talking about is regardless of what those conversations consist of, regardless of what those conversations come to, are we going to result to or support surgery for a minor? I think that's really what it comes down to. We can have as many conversations as necessary, but the main conversation is we're going to delay this permanent change until you become old enough to make that decision as an adult, and echoing what Cindy said and the other thing said about being older to make that decision. I think there's a lot of things we can do to support and put the child in a position to feel more comfortable as they grow. But going back to what Zaya said, as long as the emphasis, and I'm not trying to get too geeked out right now or get too worked up, but I think that this is just like everything. When you shine a spotlight on anything, it becomes to matter more than it actually does. Like anything. When you hyper focus on something, it becomes blown out of proportion. So if Zaya's whole world now and her whole identity, and it might be a poor choice of words because that is literally what we're talking about. But if all like I'm a male, but I'm a hell of a lot more than a male. You know what I mean? If I spent my whole life was centered around being male, you know what I mean? Like, sure, it's a big deal to be transgender in a society where that is not the norm, statistically speaking. I get that. It's a big deal. But at some point, we have to make sure that someone's not totally almost obsessed or what's it called? Not obsessed, but absorbed and buying with this, because that'll be all they understand and all they know. And the only way in which they see the world, they'll lose parts of the rest of them that have nothing to do with whether they're male or female. So you see that with kids too, they try on things and that they take it and run with it. And so there's that, there's the outside influence. There's a lot of things there. I mean,
there's a lot. Well, listen, of course, with every decision, I think I say this all the time, with every decision in life, there's always going to be a pro and a con. And at the end of the day, you do what's best for you. But what we're all saying, Zaya, is that we're hoping that she gets to make this decision when she turns 18 and not let it be a decision from a parent. But we wish, her the best.
Around that too.
What'd you say, Cindy?
Yeah.
The rules need to be changed around that too. 18 is too young. 27. 27.
Cindy, you bring up a valid point though. Once on this show, Ryan, remember we even talked about transgenders. Remember there was a transgender male that went to jail in a female jail, but then ended up getting them pregnant. And I was like, do you think this whole transgender movement is going to change some of the laws and bylaws that we have? Like, are we going through a trial period that until we get it right? Because Cindy might be right. Maybe that's even too young.
Yeah, we're
I
definitely
don't know.
going
I'm all
through.
over the place.
No, but we're definitely going through some sort of a trial, sort of an unknown time frame in history. We're definitely going through that. I think that we're actually seeing, excuse me, somewhat already of an overcorrection. I think what's going to happen is we're going to make a lot of changes, maybe. I don't say a lot of changes. We're going to make changes that I think later on we're going to go back on. I think what we're going to see is over time, actually, that was a bad idea. Like you're seeing with some of the COVID protocols. Actually, we don't need to do that. Let's pull that back a little bit. I think we're going to see that. And anything that's happening right now, now's the only thing that matters. Push for it. Let's go. Who cares about what happens in the future? Who cares? Do it. If you make if you respond to that right now, then you're at the mercy of, well, how's this going to affect us later on? And people later on are going to say, okay, let's take a look at this now. This is wrong. This doesn't work. The problem is by that time, people's lives are already detrimentally affected. And people say, well, their lives are going to be detrimentally affected if they're not able to make the transition. Well, that's debatable. And I think that has a lot to do with how we accept each other. And Cindy talked about that. So that's a bigger picture. But at least people have the freedom to still make choices and do things that their bodies are naturally put in a position or designed to do if they want to do that later on.
Yeah. Man,
Yes.
with some great stuff. Like literally, there's so many variables in this one conversation that I wish we could talk about all night. But it's time for us to welcome back our very own princess to the show with some spotlighting. Cindy, who are we spotlighting this week? And I'm just so glad to use this opportunity to welcome you back. For those who are joining us now, she comes and goes, but that's what a princess does. She's traveling all over the world and still making time for us. But Cindy, it is all yours. I'll turn it over.
Spotlight. Cindy. Spotlight. Live from Columbus, Ohio, friends. I am here with a spotlight. Now, TK asked, what are some of the things that came out as news for you? And I almost forgot that my spotlight was about a nostalgic character. Onika, I hope you are on and watching tonight, because as I was scrolling through Instagram, I found a trailer to one of the most pop culture iconic figures of the 90s. I'm just going to play the video. Okay. This, you won't believe your eyes, your mind. You won't believe it when I bring her to you.
Psychic reading can be powerful and life-altering.
Call me now.
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 Call me now. You realize that your life is not ever going to be the same.
Miss Cleo was a psychic advisor, and she read tarot cards.
If anyone watched TV after midnight, you knew who Miss Cleo was.
The best entertainment I could possibly imagine.
She had such a presence.
They didn't just want to hear about the future. They wanted what she gave. She gave you the truth.
But not everyone had the same experience.
The U.S. government really brought the hammer down against Miss Cleo for defrauding consumers. She was born in Los Angeles. She created this Miss Cleo character, which had a Jamaican accent.
There were a lot of people making money from this. And the more money they made, the more money they wanted.
As far as the company profits, Miss Cleo didn't appear she was getting any of that.
A lot of her life was such a mystery.
Who's the real Miss Cleo? The web of stories, it seems, is far and wide.
Cleo may have been a character to cope with whatever was going on in her life, but it was still very real for her.
That's the enigma of this woman.
Was it performative? Yes. Was she actually trying to help people? Yes, again.
They wanted me to create a character. I'm not a character, I'm a real person.
Don't be fooled by thinking what you know is the whole story.
You scam me now. Oh, you scam me for my reading.
How did she get her own show? And I need a show.
Rest in peace, by the way. Miss Cleo died of cancer.
Yes, she passed away. Oh my God, I remember her in the 90s.
For sure.
Y'all, Miss Cleo is having a documentary made about the entire
Miss Cleo
era,
experience.
the experience, the era. Onika,
I remember
yes,
that.
Didn't she become like a millionaire because of all of this?
a millionaire. I mean, sure, of course. She was on every single commercial
Yep.
slot. Every single commercial slot. Call me now for a free read. She would read your tarot. She would read to everybody on this podcast right now. All of our Talk Miami family grew up in the time where Miss Cleo was relevant. And now she's coming out with an HBO Max documentary.
Well, she not coming out with it, Cindy. They're gonna do a documentary
they
on
produced it.
her
And
behind.
I think Raven Simone may have something to do with it because, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I remember watching That's So Raven, and Raven was a psychic. She had psychic abilities on that television show. So it's only fitting that, you know, she's one of the stars that sort of bring Miss Cleo in. And then there was another woman, the bald woman with all the tattoos. She was a cast member of Mad TV. And she would portray Miss Cleo. If you guys remember her. Onika, you have to remember her.
She said,
You know,
Onika said it was a vibe.
It was a vibe. Yes.
It was.
The documentary is on how it was a scam, though. Let's be clear.
So
yes,
the whole thing about it was a scam. So we're gonna get to the bottom of it on December 15th. HBO Max is streaming.
I'll mess with it.
Call me now. I will. Please, y'all. We got to watch it. We got to come back.
She said, "Call me now." Wait, do the Jamaican accent, Cindy.
Yes.
Call me now. I am not a something. I'm a real person. You know, she doesn't sound as Jamaican as she just sounds like all over Caribbean.
I love it. I love all of it. I want more.
It really hurt. It really hurt the Jamaican people for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, you heard our reputation for a minute.
Damn.
But
yeah, the stereotype.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a terrible stereotype, and they started casting people in movies and TV like some kind of Jamaican Obia woman who can see the future and like tell you fortune and all that shit. So, you know, full well I'm about to watch that, John.
Absolutely. Everybody, let's clap up for Cindy. Spotlight. Doom, 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 doom. Cindy. You hear me? You hear the harmony? Thank you, Cindy.
TK's cousin Onika is in the chat. And Onika is, I will say, if I ever had a best friend, Onika was my best friend because she was my spirit animal growing in Miami. Everything I was getting ready to think, she already thought. And she thought it 10 years ago. So thank you, Onika, for being on this episode today and tuning in because you get it.
We love and support you, Cindy. Thank you so much for this week's spotlight. Now on to topic number 2.
TK,
I wanted to get,
I gotta say, and you could just tell me if I think we did pretty good for that first topic. That was a blue tape topic right there, bro. Like I was when you shared that, I'm like, we're gonna go there. When I talked about what is gender, it was kind of like tape was all over the place. If Shonda was here, I wonder how she would have felt about that conversation. But I think we handled that one immaculately because that's a real conversation, bro. Like that's good stuff.
Absolutely.
Proud of you. Proud of you both.
Yes, and I'll be honest with you. I've learned to. By the way, everyone, outside of what you see on Monday, we literally talk and chat every day, especially when something breaks, news break, or something to share. We have our comments. You have 4 different personalities on here, and sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't agree. But what I have learned in this world, and to me, you'll have an easier life knowing this, is that everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And the number one thing is that it comes down to respect. Yeah. Like there is no need, Zaya, the parents can all have their own reason of why they're doing that for her. And at the end of the day, that's their household. Yeah. So is it our decision to make for Zaya? No, it isn't. But guess what? We were born with our own thoughts and our own opinion. And that's what this talk show is about, is to bring sometimes difficult conversation to the forefront. So let's just talk about it. but everybody has their own viewpoints. And that's why I love, if we all thought the same, act the same, and spoke the same, this would be a very boring world.
No doubt. All right. And TK, I agree with you. And just going back to our chat conversations, or even when we talk about things here, you're right. Your life's a lot easier when you realize that everybody's entitled to and has their own opinions. But it's even a lot better when you become able to listen to what they are, even if you don't agree with them. Like, and your life will be better when you're able to listen to somebody else's opinion, even if you don't change your own mind. You're able to listen, you grow, and your life will be a lot easier and a lot better because you won't have the resistance, you won't have the emotions, and like, just understand that and just keep it moving. It's cool.
Listen,
that part.
Listen, I have this saying: when you get in your 40s, and everybody can back me up in this, you'll get to a certain age that you're not going to argue with people anymore. If you tell me 2 + 2 is 5, I'm going to tell you right, just to protect my peace. Because listen, I'm not about to argue with somebody back and forth about my own opinion. Let's just respect each other. And I'm telling you, you will just learn to be more comfortable in this world, knowing that you can't make everyone happy. That's one of the hardest things, Ryan, that I'm still dealing with. I was just having this conversation with Farrell yesterday. I said, what I'm trying to work on in my personal and professional development is not allowing what people say to affect me. I am so empathetic that I put other people's feelings and thoughts before mine. And I'm trying to change that. But anyways, more to come. I'm just getting all off subject. But thank you, Ryan.
Sorry, topic 2. My bad. I just want to jump in there and say that was good stuff.
Yeah, I think we did all handle that respectfully. You know, that's my word. Hashtag respectfully. Let's get into topic number 2, because this one is just scenarios. I love scenarios. I love just throwing things at them just to see how people are going to react.
You ready for this, Cindy?
I know, right?
Bring it
I don't know what's about to happen.
Let's play mind your business or say something. You know, we go through life, we go out there in the world, and things can happen right in front of us. But what is our reaction? Do we mind our business and keep quiet? Or do we actually stand up and fight back or say something?
Oh, these are social scenarios. Oh, they're not topics you're going to ask me about. They're like a social situation.
Well, kind of both. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. So let me, you guys get to pick a number.
I had my mouse on. I'm gonna say something already, Cindy. Like, I had it on that already, but like, hold on, maybe it's a scenario where I might not.
You don't know what, everybody, it's behind the door. They don't know what scenario they're gonna get. They were not prepped with the question to see their thoughts. So we're gonna get their real thoughts right now.
So TK's holding up 3, 4 papers. They have numbers on them.
Right? 1, 2, and 3. So you get to pick a number, 1, 2, and 3. And Ryan, I'm gonna go to you first.
I get to pick
a number. Pick a number, 1, 2, and 3, and you would get your scenario question.
3.
All right, let's see what 3 is. Let me back this up. And then I
almost
have
went
some
1, but then if I go 1, everyone's he's so narcissistic. Why is he picking 1? He's so conceited. Does he think he's number 1? Why is he number 1? See, that reverse psychology. So I went with 3. Nah, I actually went with 3. 3 is a holy number. Go ahead though.
Here we go, audience. This is for you too. Once I go ahead and name the scenario, I want you to put in the comments, would you mind your business and stay quiet, or would you say something? Ryan, you picked door number 3. And in door number 3 is a topic, a hot topic that is going on in the news right now. So this is what he picked, everybody. Okay. Mind your business or say something. You are a producer at Good Morning America, and you witnessed this affair between TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, who is on Good Morning America. They're co-hosts. Everybody, this is all over social media that these two are having a love affair, even though they were married. So if you knew about this affair and knowing that they were both married, would you say something to HR or would you be quiet? Ryan, go.
To HR or to them?
To both. Whoever. Would you just say anything or you just plead the fifth to act like you don't even see anything?
No, I'm
you
saying
witnessed.
I'm saying something.
Okay.
I'm saying something.
Okay.
Look, I'm saying something. Now, what I say is a different story. But I'm saying something. Okay. I'm the producer, right? I'm not just Ryan.
You're the producer. You are the producer.
The producer of the show where they are my talent.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, I'm saying something. Now, I'm going to have a conversation, whether it's separate, together, like, bro, I'm gonna say something. There's no doubt I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna try and this is an issue that more than those people are gonna be affected by. It's a business decision as well. For sure. Be lying if I said I'm a producer, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna keep it moving until it comes out in the news and everybody else is saying something, and now I look like an idiot. Like, hey, why didn't you say something, right? Why didn't you do something? Now this is on your show. What's going on? Again, what I say, that's a different story. But I'm saying something.
Ooh, everybody is saying they minding their business.
Of course they are.
Reese say she's minding her business. Ethel says she's minding her business. Onika, let's see. She said she's minding her business. You guys plead the fifth. Wait, y'all, look who done came in the chat, everybody. Huh. You know what, Cindy?
Hey, no.
No, she didn't.
Shonda Roberts.
Shonda Roberts is in the chat, y'all, while we sitting up here live and working.
Nah, Shonda, what's up, man? You need to give us the news. What happened with your boy, man? At least update us, bro.
Good news.
Good news. What's up, man? Let us know. We're in the middle of a game, though, Shonda. She says she's saying something, no? Okay. Shonda, you saying something or you minding your business?
And then let's see who else.
I'm saying something.
I was going to ask you, Cindy, what you doing? You saying something, right?
So Cindy, go ahead, share with us. You saying something or you? Okay.
I've already put my answer up. I'm saying something.
That was you, right? Yeah.
Because as a producer for the show,
you know what time it is.
I'm thinking 12 steps ahead. I'm thinking a few steps ahead. In the event that this whole thing blows up and it's a catastrophe, yes, I use that word.
Yeah.
Because it is.
I have to now figure out how to put out this fire.
Damage control
the situation.
PR.
You know, I may not go to the spouses, but I will go say to them directly what's going on. I need to understand this relationship because it now affects my bottom line and it affects me as a producer and a creator of this show, which then it affects the homes that we go into. Hi, Dr. Shonda Roberts.
Just in time. You saying something, Shonda? What's up?
I missed it.
It's so interesting that Shonda wasn't here for topic one, you all.
Yeah, it was real convenient. Your boy was out there getting started, getting recruited now, talking to scouts. Real interesting, Cindy. You're right about that.
That was my blue tape.
That's exactly what that was.
No, we did good, Shonda. Shonda, we did good. And
no, I didn't. My phone died. My phone died. I couldn't turn. I just walked in the house and just turned on my laptop.
What's crazy is low key, Shonda would have a lot to say with us about what we talked about. Like if it was just us, Shonda would be pumping the brakes and hesitating when we were on live, but she would join that conversation in the way we handled it.
Trying to cancel you and stuff, and I just, I just staying out of that. I'm not gonna be.
We did
cancel culture.
So we good, man.
Guys, we have a great conversation
today. Okay, what am I minding my
Shonda,
business?
The only one getting, if anybody get canceled, the only one getting canceled is me, Shonda. If anybody, y'all ain't getting canceled, I'm gonna be the first one to get canceled. You know they're getting rid of white man first. You know they're getting rid of white man.
They gotta go through me first. You ain't getting canceled.
White man.
That's why I mess with y'all.
White man.
So
Cindy
was finishing. Cindy was finishing her thoughts about why she would say something. And she was coming from actually the business standpoint, from the industry standpoint, and she has a better probably vantage point of how all that stuff works than we do. But she agreed. You'll say something, right, Cindy?
I'm saying something.
I would absolutely say something.
So if you found out about the affair, go ahead, Cindy. Give us your answer. Why?
Like I said,
something?
I would speak to the individuals involved first and hear what they have to say. But I'm walking out of that meeting with a request for a solution.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If this doesn't, then this. If this happens, then this will happen. We will not walk out of here without some sort of resolution-based conversation.
Because look, Cindy, it's either that or we'll all just wait until it blows up. And what am I going to do? I'm going to suspend you or get rid of you anyway. So you want to have a proactive approach to this, or do you want me to just stay quiet and let everybody suffer from it?
Millions of people watch this show. Absolutely not.
Correct. For those people, probably for those personalities. And so I'll finish off, but I think a lot of people in the comments are probably staying quiet because it deals with an affair. And it's like, well, that's not my business. Their affair is not my business. We're not really going to speak on the fact that what the details of their affair are. It's the business standpoint that your affair now is public because you're a public figure and you work with me or for me. We need to figure this out. Whatever y'all do is what y'all do. But like Cindy said, we need to come to understand of how are you going to handle that and either be ready for it to hit the press or proactively do it yourself, but take care of that because it's going to reflect poorly on me. That's what we'll talk about. Yeah, sure. The details of the affair, who knows what's going on there? And that might not be my business and it doesn't relate to me if it's not related to the show, but I'm the producer of the show that you all work for. Come on, we're having a conversation. I agree with Cindy 100%.
And especially if there was a no fraternizing policy, which we don't know, but we are the producers to find out and speak on business. So, Shonda, what would you do? Before we go to the next scenario, what would you do if you found out about the affair and you were the producer? And you
wait, does she know the game? TK, does she know the game? Shonda, you know the game?
I caught it when she was holding the envelopes up.
So I picked my number, and it's what would you do? Would you mind your business, or would you say something? And this was my number. My number was this. It was this. Y'all want that comment up there? I'm gonna take it down. That's the situation.
Take it down.
You the producer, Shonda. Do you
say
something?
I would say something to both of them. I would definitely speak to both of them. Gotcha. I don't know if I would air it out to the public, but I would say something to both of them. I'm like,
awesome.
What y'all doing?
And just so you guys know,
just like that.
I saw you going to her car, and I saw you following him out the bathroom. Y'all ain't slick. Don't do that.
So like that.
I'm not the only one that saw that.
She was said just like that. She was said just like that, y'all. But
I messed with her.
And I want to give an update. If you guys did not log on to social media today, they both were let go this morning from Good Morning America.
Right.
I mean, and rightfully so.
What else you got? What else you got, TK?
Right,
we run out of time. We run out of time. So Cindy got to pick.
1 and 2 left. So Cindy, number 1 or number 2? What's your scenario?
2.
Let's go.
Let's
see what's behind door number 2, everybody. Let's see what she picked. Ooh, this one is so right for you. Let me set up the video. All right, so here is Cindy's scenario. Mind your business or say something. Here we go.
Mother nigga!
Nah, hell no. Is do something an option?
A New York subway. So Cindy, you are from New York, and I know you have seen things on the subway. If that happened while you were on the train, you saw a lot of people didn't do anything. And be honest,
nobody did anything.
The woman's mouth helped me.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Would you mind your business or say something or do something? Cindy?
I would have to. It's a tough spot because of my size.
Right.
But if I were a larger person, I would have gotten my body involved. If I was a stronger person or
that makes my blood. I'm sorry, Cindy. That makes my blood boil. I'm
because
sorry.
There was men on there.
If you took a man took the video.
Yep.
So soft, bro. That's the problem with this country right now, dude. We're not putting our aggression towards where it needs to be placed.
Really
bro, this is crazy.
If you're looking at the scenario, that woman feels like she's in danger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That person has a whole handful of her hair, and he's not letting it go. And she's going, "Help me," and no one's moved because texting 911 and taking pictures. I mean, essentially, that's what that person did and posted it. But texting 911 in the subway is no reception. So you'd have to pull the emergency lever on the train to get the conductor to stop the train, then come to the car to deal with this person. It's a lot. And who knows if that person has a weapon? We don't know. But clearly they were in a place because they looked very strong and they were wearing a tank top, a crop top sweatshirt.
Might have been mentally ill, might have been on drugs. So many variables. It's a dangerous situation.
Yeah, there's so many variables.
New York is a very different place. Even more so than it was before the pandemic. So I will say that I understand that that person felt like they were in danger. And there's a lot of mentally ill people there. It's a different place.
Cindy, can I just throw something out there?
Someone was praying. Did you guys hear them? They was like praying because, like, what can you do? Like, that's a hard one. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I was gonna say what you can do, and again, I wouldn't expect, I wouldn't expect or demand or for someone, again, I'm sure Cindy got on one. She could rough somebody up if she really put her energy into something. But I wouldn't expect someone of that size or that petite. Right.
No.
So I wouldn't expect that. But what we all could do, and again, just this isn't advice on telling you what to do, Cindy. But I'm thinking as a petite woman on the train with someone, a psychotic person that's physically assaulting someone else. What do? You start calling out everybody else on the train. Y'all just gonna sit there and watch? Y'all just gonna let her, like, you make a scene in a way where numbers become the issue, because I saw 14 pairs of shoes in that video. Yep. 14 pairs of shoes can do something. I don't care what's going on with that person, but nobody did it. Here's the fine line in society. This phone has us so encapsulated, so cut off. We're so detached. Everybody is now minding their own business, but to what detriment? Now somebody's in need. Somebody's life may be threatened, and you're just gonna mind your business. I'm gonna stay right here on this side of the train. That's horrible. I mean, it's inexcusable. And I get it. There are people there that they don't want to put their own life in jeopardy. They don't want to step out there and but you know what? Here's what I know you're capable of. Let that be your child.
What you say?
Bet you stepping up. So where's the line? You have a citizen, a Samaritan, that they're in jeopardy now. Now, I'm not saying risk your life for any old stranger, but damn, bro, like 14 people gonna just sit around and watch it happen and get the phone out. I can't fathom it. I can't. It makes my blood boil. Go ahead, Cindy.
So I'll give you a scenario. I was dating this guy, and we were in Midtown near Madison Square Garden, Penn Station. There's a lot of traffic, a lot of people. And we were coming up from the subway. I had an electronic scooter in my hand, and I was walking with him toward his apartment. And right up the block, I was just saying, I was like, New York feels like kind of crazy. It was the middle of the summer. And I looked down the block and I saw an altercation. And the guy that I was with, he might have looked like you, Ryan, got his body involved in the scenario.
Good looking dude.
It was.
You know what?
He got his body involved in the situation. Did not take into consideration that he was with a person.
Right.
So here's how this situation escalated. It was a group of people. There were two people involved in this altercation. One brother on a bike, and then this other guy who was shirtless and had a broken glass in his hand.
Two dudes were fighting.
They were in an altercation.
Okay.
And this guy was clearly inebriated in some way or out of his conscious mind. And he was holding a broken bottle in his hand, and his hand was cut. And my guy that I was dating went toward him, and people were like, look out for the glass. So shirtless man and man on a bike, the man on the bike tries to get away, but it's Midtown, so you can only go so far depending on what color the traffic light is. And so this guy goes in the middle of the intersection. Now, mind you, across the street, there are two police officers who see this thing happening. But instead of let the police officers deal with it, or the crowd, which the crowd had already gotten involved, the guy I was dating got his body involved and started to chase and try to stop this altercation in the intersection. So now the police get involved. The police get involved to the point where they cross the street and they pull out their gun and they point it in the direction of the shirtless man who was holding the glass bottle. I am standing behind the shirtless man with the glass bottle, just off of the left of him.
Yeah.
And
so the dude you were with kind of put you in that position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He put me in that position.
Yeah.
And then he was upset with me because I shouldn't make him feel ashamed. This is New York, and I am New Yorker. I shouldn't make him feel ashamed for doing something right, which the right thing to do was to get me out of that situation. Mind your business.
Yeah.
Number one thing is to protect you.
Correct. And that didn't happen when I saw that gun.
Right. Guys,
Yeah,
I'm
different
having so much
scenario.
fun with this game. It allows us to see what happens. You ever heard that saying, you never know what you will do until you're put in a situation?
Of course.
So this is what I wanted to get out of everybody is what would you do? Shonda, you are left with number one. Look, Shonda said, I just logged on. Here she go.
I
So
just
let's
came
see
on.
what your
I look
scenario
tired, look like I've been running the streets all day.
We're
But go
going
ahead,
to
I'll play.
pop some of this tea. That's why she came on. Hey, that's a show, TK. What would you do, by the way? I talk about it in my social psych class. The show is What Would You Do? You probably saw it. That show, What Would You Do?
It's on Nickelodeon. It was called What Would You Do?
No, not the Dateline show. I don't know what that What Would You Do you're talking about is. The one where they legitimately set up a social scenario.
We're gonna wrap
and they
this
have-
up, Sin. Sin, we're gonna wrap this up.
They have that, and then they ask, what would you do? Go ahead, TK. TK on a delay.
Yeah,
again.
no, we're gonna wrap this up because we all have to go. Cindy, I got you. Dr. Shonda, this last one is for you. And guys, can I say I strategically put it in so let you guys pick the numbers, but every number that you guys pick was so appropriate for what you guys do. This one is perfect. I'll wait to see what she is going to say. So here is number one. Sean, do you mind your business or say something? Here's your scenario. Ooh, get him, Shonda. Here we go. Wait, did it come up?
Damn, why you did Shonda like that?
You find out one of your friends is sleeping
Already.
with your other friend's husband. What do you do? I am having a couple's night.
Woo, baby.
And I'm gonna let it out.
Holy shit. Okay.
If they my friends, they don't even know.
Shonda, but wait a minute. There's a part two to this.
Oh my
Well, put it back. Put it back.
Are
Let me
you
reread
loyal?
it.
It's a part two.
Wait, let me read this to you, and then I didn't put part two because it got lengthy, right? You guys are in a you guys are in a group of friends. You all three of you are friends now, but you find out that one of your friends is sleeping with your other friend's husband. Now think about this, Shonda. Which one are you loyal to when they're both your friends? Because now you're about to either break up a marriage, you're about to break up a friendship. How do you mind your business or do you say something? Go.
Okay, so first of all, I would not be a friend if I knew a friend was sleeping with a friend's husband.
But you just found out. You just found out.
So I'm going to say something to the friend who's sleeping with the husband first. I'm going to check her. But there's no way I could continue to be around the other friend.
Because you're not fake. Right. Exactly.
I couldn't do it. So I got to say something to that friend as well. I'm gonna tell her, you tell her, or I'm gonna tell her.
There it is, right there.
She needs
That's
to
it.
know.
That's it. Exactly. I like exactly.
I'm gonna lose a friend out of that. I don't know
got
who.
till next week
Which
to tell
one?
her.
I may lose a friend that's doing the cheating, but you tell her, or I'm gonna tell her.
You
Because
got
there's
to
no
the
one
end of
be
the
in
day
your
on
face,
Friday.
TK, and send the sleeping with your. I'm not gonna do that.
You tell her, I tell her.
You
got
got
to
one.
the
You
end
got
of
you
the
got
business
30, you
day.
got 3 hours.
3 hours.
3.
I said I'm gonna give you the end of the work week.
Okay.
Damn.
And now they're changing the work week to a 4-day work week. So we're gonna have to consider that.
Right. Listen,
But you're about to break up
theater.
a lot of friendships and relationships, Shonda. If you
They're already broken, TK.
There's a lot of
They're already broken.
There's a
y'all
lot
know
of
I'm
fish in
doing
the
this to
sea.
entice her.
You can get some more friends. You don't need them raggedy friends who be breaking promises and
Because they're not friends.
legit.
And I don't want, and if you slept with her husband, you'll sleep with mine. So
Hello.
be gone.
Ooh.
And y'all
Ooh,
know I
I
don't play about chocolate. I don't play about chocolate, honey. Listen, don't be dead in jail. I don't play. So let me let you go on about your business, honey, because you can't be my friend. See, with our friend's husband, that ain't gonna work.
Hey, yo.
Ryan, I want you to know that Shanique to say that you are to the barbecue, baby. We keeping you.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm talking
Shanika is
about.
my sister. She just don't know it yet.
Okay. Good stuff, man.
Everybody,
that was
we had a great show tonight. I love so many topics, and I was like, instead of making 4 different topics, we're gonna do scenarios. And guys, you all picked a topic that literally you have like experience with, or just I thought that was great, and just to see how people will react in the act of the happening. So, guys, thank you. We're gonna end the show with the one and only Ryan David. Let me see. Let me pull up. Shonda, Cindy, y'all give me a hook. Here it is, the real talk with the Ryan David. Shonda, sing for me.
Nah, that's all right. I don't need to.
Oh, okay.
Y'all
I'm trying
want
to
me
take
to
off
sing?
this.
Really?
Take
I'll
off that
sing.
band. No, you good. Look, hey Cindy, you got to run, or you got 2 more minutes, or you want to go? You got to
I do
go.
have to run.
Okay. All right. You can watch the
Justin.
recording.
I love y'all.
Everybody say bye to Cindy. We'll
Bye,
see
Cindy.
you.
I won't see you for another 2 weeks because she ain't gonna be here next week.
That's right.
I'll be in Miami in January.
We got to meet up in January. I was gonna
Can't
tell
wait
you
to
guys that
see y'all.
off air. Yeah, we got to meet up. We got to do something.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Is it on me?
Yep.
There it goes. Real talk. So what's interesting is, and I know we're going to wrap up, so this won't be a real long real talk, but it was something that was pressing that I kind of wanted to talk about. And I didn't really think about how this conversation or this topic would tie into the Zaya conversation we had about transgender transitions and hormone therapies and whatnot. But I want to speak on something that I think is very important. And this show is a platform, even if it's, for whoever's listening right now or here's the recording, but it's a platform to make statements. And, we only have our voices, and some people have louder voices than we do, but we have the opportunity to speak on it. And this is a platform to speak on things. So y'all seen Avatar? Y'all seen Avatar? The original Avatar came out, I think, in like 2009. It's old now. Phenomenal movie, beautiful movie, amazing movie. Like it was crazy. So the director, his name is James Cameron, right? And so Avatar 2 is coming out. Did y'all know that? So Avatar 2 is coming out as a water, aqua-based type of Avatar, right? So I was a big fan. I think I shed a tear at the end of Avatar, the original Avatar. So I want to speak on what James Cameron said recently. So James Cameron has produced other movies too. I believe Terminator and some other really high action movies. There's a list that I didn't pull the list up. You guys can look it up on your own. Most of you know who he is. But he's a director. And so what I want to speak on tonight is what James Cameron said in an interview. And coincidentally enough, it actually ties back into what we were talking about earlier, which is hormones. So James Cameron did an interview, and he did an interview with the Post Millennial. And the headline is Avatar director James Cameron says testosterone is a toxin men must terminate from their system.
Oh.
Okay. And I want to speak on that because, first of all, this is a movie director. He is not a clinician. He is not a physician. He is not a biologist. He is not a psychologist. This is his opinion, and he's speaking on testosterone. So not only is this ignorant, not only is this uneducated, but this is just flat out wrong. And the way he's saying this as a headline really can facilitate some of the stereotypes and misconceptions about testosterone that already exist. And I want to put really exactly what his quote was, because headlines, sometimes the titles, the headlines, they can be a little bit different than what was actually said. But this is what he said, quote unquote. A lot of things I did earlier, I wouldn't do career-wise, and just risks that you take as a wild testosterone poisoned young man. I always think of testosterone as a toxin that you have to slowly work out of your system. I want to speak on testosterone in a moment, but I first want to say that James Cameron is way beyond the age in which testosterone is still pumping naturally through his blood. He might have a little bit, but unless he's going on testosterone therapy, he is aged out from the endogenous amount of testosterone that would normally have been pumping through his system as a younger male. That's number one. Number two, James Cameron is James Cameron. Not Titanic was his other movie, by the way, a big one. He's not just James Cameron because of Avatar. James Cameron is James Cameron because of a lot of the movies that he filmed on the backs of younger males, actors that were in his movie. So, and those males wouldn't be males without the testosterone in their system. So it's somewhat hypocritical and a little bit ironic that he's making this statement. But I just want to speak to how important, and I'll wrap up with this, testosterone is. I talk about this in my intro to psychology class as we talk about the endocrine system and we talk about testosterone. A lot of misconceptions around testosterone. First and foremost, testosterone is not just a male hormone. It is the dominant hormone for males. It is the dominant sex hormone for males. But testosterone is an essential hormone that is vital in terms of ratio with estrogen and estradiol for males and females. Both males and females need an adequate amount of testosterone. This is not a male thing. Of course, it is the dominant male sex hormone, but absolutely it is vital to the physical health, mental health, and sexual health for females as well. I have some literature that shows sexual health for women improves depending on the level of testosterone in their system, and it's actually used as a supplementation. So this idea and this notion that testosterone is toxin, first of all, is just flat out wrong. It is absolutely critical and vital to our health, and it does a lot more. It's a lot more than just this toxin and a lot of the association is testosterone and toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is a conversation to have all in and of itself and what that consists of. But testosterone being vilified here is unfortunate that he made that statement. So I want to be clear about what testosterone is and what it isn't. And Robert Sapolsky is a Stanford psychologist, and he did some research on testosterone, and the clinician is clear with him. Testosterone doesn't make people more aggressive. Testosterone makes you more of what you already are. If you have an aggressive streak and you have increased levels of testosterone in your system, what you find is those people tend to be more aggressive. But testosterone seems to make people more competitive, males and females alike. One of the studies I refer to show how it's a competitive thing and not an aggressive thing is they took billionaires who were donating money or bidding for a philanthropy. And they basically administered testosterone into these billionaires with all this money. And what they found was the billionaires who were administered testosterone at high levels tried to outbid, give away more of their money than their peers. It makes you, generally speaking. So this idea that testosterone is toxic is nonsense, first of all. But second of all, there's nothing men can do about this except for what? Take estrogen, which will lower your amount of testosterone and suppress it. It's a male hormone, a male dominant hormone that has the sex characteristics, and that's what makes us who we are. And so to say that we have to rid our bodies of that, it's not only ignorant and nonsensical, it's dangerous. There's another word that I'm thinking of right there. So I had a big problem with that statement, and I just wanted to talk about how important these hormones are and how misunderstood they are. And again, to piggyback on the conversation earlier, when you start talking about sex hormone therapy, or sex hormone therapy, or hormone replacement therapy for males or for females, this is a very serious topic because these are very powerful drugs and they're powerful hormones. We need an adequate ratio for our overall health. A lot of people seek physicians' help or assistance for health problems they don't think about are often related to an imbalance in their sex hormones. High estrogen, low estrogen, high testosterone, low testosterone. So be real mindful of that and do your research, be informed, educate yourself as to how important these things are and run your blood work and see. But this idea to make this statement that it's a topic men need to be ashamed of and rid their bodies of, it's unfortunate. It was highly unfortunate. So I just wanted to put that out there with the voice that I have.
Where did he place that on Twitter? Was it his Twitter?
Interview with the Post Millennial, which is, I guess, they did a sit-down interview with him, and then it took off, and everyone's now seeing it and commenting on it or whatnot. But he did an interview about Avatar 2, and I guess he made these comments or whatnot. And I was just taken back by, even if it was taken out of context, he needs to do a better job of alluding to something like that. Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Well, thank you, Ryan, for sharing that with us. Everybody give it up for the Ryan David having some real talk. No, you're talking facts. I mean, that's one thing about social media that's a pro and a con to me. It's a heavy influencer. Just if a celebrity or someone says it, there's so many people who will believe it instead of actually getting medical advice from their doctor.
Irresponsible was the word I was looking for. It was irresponsible for him to go there. So not the typical real talk tonight, but real talk. That's how I feel about that. Shana, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just want to let people know that I don't usually look like this. I usually be cute, but today has been a day.
Well, you look cute.
I don't
sit down and hold my laptop. I usually have a little desk and stuff, but I came straight to grab my laptop just because I wanted to tune in. But
you got the hoops, the pink lips.
Exactly.
Look at you.
She's still cute.
Still good.
And guys, she's committed. On top of it being in a meeting, she's still logged on. So
we're not going to the corner though, right, TK? We're not going to the corner.
We're not going to the corner. She won't even be ready. She'll fuss me out. But guess what, Shonda? I have an assignment for you. Promote the show. Go.
So you all can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Talk Miami Talk Show. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Talk Miami Talk Show. And for our podcast listeners, Talk Miami Podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts at Talk Miami Talk Show.
Woo, y'all heard her. But Good Morning America, hire us. If you letting go of TJ and Amy,
listen, they got 2 jobs, friend.
We got you. We can get the ratings up. You know what I'm saying? We can get the ratings up and all of that.
I'm like, good morning, America. What y'all doing?
And if it's an affair going on, Shonda will handle that before it becomes a problem.
That's right. And the
Shonda will be over HR. She will be over HR. Bye, y'all. We'll see you next time.
All right, ladies.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Oh, wow. Caught you at 4K. 4K.
You
caught your ass in 4K. Go to sleep. Got him.
We called her. Yep, we called her. Everybody next.